Cancer is the dreaded C word that no one ever wants to hear in a doctor's office. Whether you've just received a cancer diagnosis, completed a treatment, or found out that your cancer has recurred, you're likely to find yourself riding the waves of an emotional tsunami. And the burning question on every patient's mind is this: is it even possible to live with cancer and live a full life? In today's episode, we'll explore the wide array of emotions that come with a cancer diagnosis and the choices to consider so you can make the most of life amidst your cancer journey. When I look back at my story, I see my life divided into two parts. There was the world as I knew it before my diagnosis, and the one that turned upside down when I was told I had stage 4 cancer. I remember the day my doctor delivered the news as if it were yesterday. Right before I entered the doctor's clinic, I was crying in a small washroom cubicle down the hall, waiting for my turn. I was scared, and I found myself bargaining with God. But surprisingly, I was not asking for it not to be cancer. Somehow, the body just knows. I knew it was serious, so instead of negotiating for a lower stage, I really prayed for faith. And the reason why I prayed for this was because I knew there were going to be crossroads and decisions that I had to make. And I wouldn't be able to handle any of them if I was scared. That led me to my journey's mantra: faith over fear. Because instantly, as if cold water had washed over me, I felt that cubicle completely strip off all my trepidation. Something inside me just clicked. I spent the next 3 days calling doctors to make preparations, and purposely, I would go home late to avoid telling my children. Before I could talk about it, I needed to steer myself to a place where I was genuinely okay and ready. I recall my eldest looking at me when I finally told them as he asked, "Are you okay?" I responded, "Yes, I can do this." When I said that, I felt it deep in my heart. My cancer journey set me on a path I have never anticipated. The question that echoed in my mind from the day forward was whether living a full life was still possible despite the formidable presence of cancer. Over time, I have come to realize that the answer has always been a resounding yes. I decided pretty early on that I really had to take my cancer journey one step at a time. I couldn't see the whole staircase, but I could see one step, and that was all I needed. And that was enough. My focus was always on taking that one step forward, one day at a time. That's also how I encourage other people, because there's really no telling what's to come. Even the doctors can only tell you so much, so why even focus on yourself? If it's not within your control, Your mind has to let go of it. So that's how I approached it. I hardly got sidetracked because I started building smaller communities, and that kept me grounded. That reminded me that I needed to continuously inspire and influence people because it wasn't just about me anymore. Our numbers kept on increasing. There were more and more cancer patients coming into the hospital. And you can be fearful and you can be scared, but what you cannot lose is hope. It is very important to me that people do not lose hope, even just for one day. They just need enough strength to be able to show up the next day. You see, living with cancer is undeniably a challenging journey, one that encompasses physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual battles. It introduces an uninvited intruder into our lives, demanding that we confront mortality. It forces us to reevaluate our priorities, dreams, and what living a full life truly means. This may be hard to hear, but I want to reassure you. This newfound perspective, born out of adversity, can be very transformative. I want to acknowledge that everyone reacts to cancer diagnosis in their own unique way. There's no one size fits all approach to dealing with the emotional turmoil that cancer brings. How quickly or easily someone adjusts to the situation is unpredictable and depends on many varying factors, including your previous experiences with adversities and crises, the kind of support system you have, and even your financial capabilities, and that's just naming a few. Understanding the emotional impact of cancer is crucial for both patients and their support system. It can help you to navigate the turbulent waters of cancer and provide support to your loved ones going through it. And to be able to wrap our heads around what it means to live a full life, we have to understand how our feelings come into play and really name them. Because you have to know what you are dealing with in order to address it. For many patients, suppressing emotions is done as a seemingly honorable act, so as not to worry their loved ones or frighten them. We might think of this as somewhat admirable or even strong, but if we're being honest with ourselves, keeping it all in fact, does more harm than good. It is important to note, and this has to be said to avoid any confusion, that while expressing emotions is generally beneficial, the way you do it matters. It's essential to express your emotions in a healthy, constructive, and respectful manner, considering the context and the feelings of those around you. So, let's dive into the emotional revelations brought about by cancer. And if at some point you find yourself struggling with any of this in particular, please let me know. So let's start at the beginning. We experience shock, which is often the first emotion that strikes when you receive the news of a cancer diagnosis, a cancer recurrence, or an advanced stage of the disease. This initial shock can be overwhelming and oftentimes immobilizing, leaving you confused and numbed and you're unable to process what's happening. In such moments, you may feel disoriented as if time has stopped or you've lost your way completely. And then there's fear that accompanies a cancer diagnosis, and it is entirely normal. It is a terrifying experience, making you feel as if life has spiraled out of control and the future is an uncertain and daunting uphill mountain to climb. This fear may be most intense immediately after diagnosis, but it can resurface at various points during your treatment and even beyond. However, I find that the more informed we are of that particular type of cancer and the treatment journey, we are able to be better equipped to manage this fear and regain that sense of control. Next, we have denial. This is a psychological defense mechanism that helps us cope with painful truths such as cancer diagnosis. In the initial stages, denial can serve as a shield from the overwhelming emotions, allowing some time to come to terms with the reality. However, if denial persists for an extended period, it may also get in the way of honestly discussing the cancer diagnosis, which is such an important factor in coming to terms with your illness and figuring out the next steps. Now, let's talk about anger. Anger is a common response when faced with something that feels profoundly unfair, like cancer. This anger can be directed towards the disease itself, healthcare professionals, or even towards friends and families who are healthy and may not fully understand that you are going through all of this. Some individuals even grapple with anger towards God, a higher power, or even themselves. Remember, anger is a normal reaction and you don't need to hide it. But I also suggest that you reassure your loved ones and let them know that your moments of anger are not necessarily about them. Let's talk about guilt. Guilt is another complex emotion that cancer can bring. People sometimes blame themselves for their illness, wondering if they could have done something differently to prevent it or detect it sooner. You might also feel guilty about how your illness affects those around you, especially your family. Caregivers, family members, and friends, they also experience guilt, feeling helpless or inadequate in their roles. It is essential to recognize that cancer is not anyone's fault. I always say this: cancer is never random, and no one deserves to be sick, nor it is a punishment. What's important is that we work with our way forward, and by doing so, we leave behind all the what ifs. All the what ifs do not serve as anything. Okay, then we have anxiety and stress. Anxiety is when you get all this jittery, worried, and sometimes even feeling a little bit uneasy or scared. Your heart may be racing, you're feeling this rapid breathing, and maybe even in some people like tummy troubles or stomach upset. that uncomfortable feeling in the pit of your stomach. Stress, on the other hand, is your body's way of getting ready to deal with problems. You know, that push and pull, tough situations, or even perceived threats. Both anxiety and stress are totally normal when you're dealing with cancer. But if stress sticks around for too long or gets too intense, it can have further negative effects on your health. It can lead to depression, high blood pressure, and other health complications. So it is important to be mindful of these symptoms in order to curb them, and if I may say, it is important that you ask for help. The next one that stands out quite easily, and again, it is very common, is loneliness and isolation. We tend to isolate after diagnosis. Yes, cancer can be incredibly isolating experience. Friends and family may not be as present as you'd like them to be, either due to fear or discomfort with your illness or for whatever reason. You may also feel too unwell to engage in special activities, or even when you are surrounded by people, you might just get this sense that they don't truly understand you or what you're going through. These feelings of isolation can persist long after your treatment ends, and as you may spend more time on your own, feeling different from others due to the changes in your appearance or energy levels is also normal. But let me tell you, social connection is one of the healing aspects of life. So when you can, meet with friends, meet with family, even if it's just on Zoom. I also have to add that even family and caregivers and love givers can also feel lonely. It is not easy dealing with this feeling that they have someone they love who is sick, even if it's just a friend, more so a loved one. And they might hesitate to talk about what they're going through or feel like they have nobody to turn to. It is not unusual for everyone to focus on the person with cancer, which leaves the love givers feeling like there isn't enough room for them. This brings us to sadness, a natural response to cancer diagnosis, and it can persist throughout the treatment process. You may grieve for the loss of your health, miss the person that you were before cancer, or the activities you once enjoyed, or feel frustrated by the limitations your illness imposes. It's crucial to acknowledge and express them as they come. This is not to be confused with loneliness, which is a subjective feeling of being isolated or feeling alone, as I mentioned earlier. While feelings of sadness are normal, prolonged and severe sadness, hopelessness, or a sense of worthlessness may indicate depression. Depression is treatable and should not be dismissed as a sign of weakness. It can be a result of even your cancer treatment or cancer itself. So you should reach out to your healthcare team, seek help if you suspect you are experiencing depression. This should not be taken lightly since it has a tendency to intensify if not addressed immediately. Now, let's flip the script. Let's talk about hope. This is such a powerful and essential emotion during the cancer journey. It can help you not just cope, but survive all the challenges you are facing. If you are not yet in this space, please know that it is perfectly okay. You don't have to pretend or fake it. This is something that you grow into or you build up to. Understandably, it can be difficult to tap into this when faced with a hardship like cancer, but it is there. You can do it. While maintaining hope is crucial, it is equally important to balance it with realism. What we do not want is a false sense of hope. Having a realistic understanding of your diagnosis can lead to better decisions about your treatment plan or your long term plans in life. So, how many of those you were able to relate to? Maybe one or two, just a few, or all of the above? Emotionally, the roller coaster ride of cancer is so unpredictable. Fear, anxiety, depression can become companions in this journey. Yet, living with cancer also teaches us resilience and the importance of leaning on loved ones and support system. It emphasizes the significance of acknowledging our emotions, naming them, and seeking help when needed. A full life is not devoid of all these negative emotions. Rather, it's about learning to navigate them and grow stronger in the process. Physically, cancer can really be taxing, with treatments like chemotherapy, radiation, and surgeries often taking a toll on the body. The side effects can be debilitating, and the constant cycle of treatments, which we all know is cumulative, and checkups can never be ending. However, cancer also offers a unique opportunity to appreciate our bodies, the strength they have possessed. I have learned to savor the good days. I have learned to be grateful about the things I usually don't thank God for. I feel that cancer brings us to appreciate the things we have overlooked in our life, to relish the moments when I feel like myself again, and to find gratitude in the resilience of this human body. It's in these moments that I realize that living a full life means embracing the physical aspects of life, even if you have limitations. Let me tell you, this is what living a full life means. That you never stop communicating with friends and loved ones. That when your body feels stronger, you take a walk outside and enjoy the air and the sunshine. Or when you are on treatment break, you run to the nearest beach or wherever your sacred and happy place is. Or if your doctor permits, travel to the nearest country for as long as it is safe for you. That is what living a full life means. Mentally, the constant uncertainty of cancer scores can be overwhelming. But it also has helped my ability to live in the present moment and to appreciate the simple joys of life that we often take for granted. Living with cancer forces us to let go of all the trivial worries and focus on what truly matters. It reminds us that a full life is not measured by the quantity of time, but by the quality of moments we experience. I always say this: living a full life doesn't mean living long. Living a full life means living life well. Cancer has also prompted me to redefine my goals and my aspirations. I've learned to set achievable goals and milestones and make the most of time that I have. It's a journey of self discovery leading to personal growth and wonder, and an increased awareness of the world around me. I've found new passions and interests, whether it's through advocacy, helping others in their cancer journey, or immersing myself in creative pursuits. A full life, I've come to understand, is one that adapts and evolves in response to life's unexpected twists and turns. The support of loved ones and medical professionals and support groups has been an essential aspect of my journey. These relationships have shown me that a full life is one that is rich with connections, compassion, and shared experiences. They remind us that living with cancer is not a solitary endeavor, but a collective journey. So, is it possible to live a full life while battling with cancer? Yes, it is. Cancer is a part of my life. It was a part of my life, but it does not define who I am or what my life can be. The journey is a challenging one, but has also been a transformative one, pushing me to embrace life in ways I never imagined. While cancer can slow down your life, please never take it to mean that you diminish the joy out of living life. Continue your social connection in a safe way. One can never underestimate the power of being around people with positive energy. Take a respite from the city. Rekindle your hobbies. Do not deprive yourself of a good laugh while watching a feel good movie. Find a passion project. Keep on living. Cancer may be a chapter of your life. It is not your whole book. Living with cancer has not diminished my capacity for joy, love, and fulfillment. It has even amplified it. It has taught me to cherish every sunrise, every laughter, every hug. It has made me acutely aware of the preciousness of life itself. In the face of adversity, the pursuit of a full life takes on a new profound meaning. It means finding strength in vulnerability, embracing the beauty in imperfection, and discovering a life that is not limited by circumstances, but expanded by the human spirit's boundless resilience. I want to thank you for tuning in today. This is the Life Doula podcast. And remember, it's okay to feel what you feel. It's even okay not to be okay. And seeking support can be a crucial part of navigating this emotional roller coaster. Until next time, heal strong, stay hopeful, have faith, and know that you don't have